What if the real pivot point of this Lakers season isn't a blockbuster trade or some dramatic farewell, but a quieter, harder question? Can Austin Reeves truly thrive next to Luka Doncic when the floor shrinks, the pace slows, and every possession turns into a chess match? What happens when your third creator needs the ball and your new franchise engine needs it even more? And if the fit wobbles, are you brave enough to act before the market acts on you? Let's talk like people who've lived this roller coaster. Reeves didn't just climb the depth chart. He changed the geometry of Lakers basketball. He earned the right to have the ball late, to snake a pick and roll, to bait a defender with that shoulder fake and hit the weak side cutter. But now he shares space with Luka in purple and gold, and that changes everything: tempo, spacing, responsibility, and even the rhythm of LeBron's minutes. With Luka, you get an offense that hums like a generator, heliocentric, methodical, time-bending. It's brilliant, but it also demands sacrifices from everyone around it. Reeves is capable of making them. The question is whether the team can extract maximum value from his game without dulling the edges. That made him special in the first place. By the way, if you live and breathe this team like I do, welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report. Drop a like right now, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the little things that end up deciding a season. Because with this roster, the little things are going to be everything. Here's the heart of it, and I'm going to keep it real. Reeves is no longer just a feel-good story. He's an offensive adult. He reads second defenders. He manipulates timing. He's become that teammate who calms the storm in the most chaotic 2 minutes of the second quarter. When defenses top lock our shooters or blitz Luka above the break, Reeves can be the release valve who doesn't just end the possession, he improves it. That's rare. Yet fit is a two-way street, and the other lane is defense. Two guards you can hunt will get hunted, and playoff basketball is basically a 48-minute manhunt. If Reeves is fighting a mismatch on one end and having his usage throttled on the other, you're asking him to be both elastic and iron at the same time. This is where context matters. LeBron is still the guy whose presence alone organizes chaos, but even a king chooses his battles. The path to making this work is staggering creation without staggering identity. If Darvin and the front office by design can build pockets where Reeves initiates with a true rim-running, screen big and a corner spacer pulling help away, you can preserve his aggressiveness. Then flip the stage. Bring him off pin downs into empty corner pick and roll with Luka, spotting just enough to force a nail tag, or ghost screen for Luka, so the switch leaves a small on Reeves with the clock under 8. That's not theory. That's how you protect two creators from cannibalizing each other's possessions. Another layer no one likes to talk about in public, but everyone whispers about in hallways: money. Reeves has earned the right to test his value after this season. That looming fork in the road doesn't automatically mean trade him, but it does mean you should know today what you'd be willing to pay tomorrow and what you need back if the number becomes too spicy. Front offices lose players by falling in love with the idea of a guy while ignoring the market for the guy. Fans hate that sentence. I hate that sentence. But it's how dynasties die quietly, not with one bad decision, but with delayed ones. Let's zoom back to the floor, because that's where the argument for keeping Reeves becomes visceral. He's become an excellent advantage extender. If Luka bends a defense, but the help is sticky, Reeves turns half advantages into layups or sprays. If the defense switches, Reeves can win on the second dribble, not the seventh. And when he plays off the ball, he's learned to be loud without dribbling lift timing, cut timing, relocation timing. He can hit that right wing three in rhythm, and you can't teach the calm that follows when a role player knows the shot is his and the moment is not too big. Now, the counter-argument. In May and June, the game tilts toward rim deterrence and defensive clarity. The West isn't forgiving. It's entirely reasonable to say the Lakers still need a vertical spacer who blocks shots, swallows second chances, and doesn't need touches to matter. That archetype turns Luka's lobs into attacks you pay for going under, and gives. Reeves the cleanest read in basketball. Beat your man and throw it to the square. It also cleans up the mess when your guards are targeted. Notice I said archetype. I'm not obsessed with a single name. I'm obsessed with the principle. If you can add that profile without touching the core chemistry, do it yesterday. If the only way to add it is by cutting out an artery, think twice. LeBron's words about the future clearer than before. Still competitive in spirit, only sharpen the urgency without suffocating the present. He's not done. He's evolving. And there's a version of this team where that evolution is the cheat code. Luka steering the ship, LeBron deciding the tide, Reeves stitching both into a 48-minute performance that looks sustainable in April, not just spectacular in January. That's the version that scares the conference. For the fit itself, think roles, not labels. On offense, you want Reeves as the second side trigger. Empty corner, slot entry, touch screen, force the low man to choose. Give him two simple reads, shake to the slot or drop it to the dunker and live with the results. Run Spain actions where Reeves is the back screener, then pops to that top of the arc three. Most teams botch the communication on that coverage at least twice a night. If Luka draws weak help early, let Reeves cut behind the sink. And if they start top-locking Reeves, answer with a quick slip into a short roll from the screener, then hit Reeves on the move. That's basketball fluency, not confinement. On defense, you hide less and anticipate more. Reeves competes. That's never been the issue. You can insulate by being aggressive in the front of the action peel switches. Show and recovers, the occasional scram if a mismatch is getting pounded. But the truth is unromantic. The fewer closeouts your backcourt has to sprint, the better they will look. That means your bigs and wings must win the first two steps of every action. Having a vertical eraser behind it all is the aspirin you wish you took in November. Not March. Roster calculus is cold. The sentimental case for Reeves is bulletproof the story, the growth, the connection with this crowd. The basketball case for Reeves is strong if you let him be what he is, a problem solver. The financial case for Reeves is, let's call it dynamic. You will be asked to choose between overpaying a good player or searching for a cheaper, less certain version of the same player. That's the paradox good teams live in. The mistake is assuming there's a perfect answer. There isn't. There's only the answer that matches your identity. Let's also say this out loud. If a true star shakes loose and the only path involves Reeves, you take that call and you don't apologize for picking it up. But star doesn't mean name you heard of. It means someone who raises your playoff ceiling on both ends today and 2 years from now. If that player isn't on the other line, then the disciplined play is to bet on internal fit, upgrade the edges, and keep your powder dry. The LeBron chapter matters here emotionally and tactically. As he leans into selective violence picking matchups, managing stints, you'll need a guard who can carry the offense for 5 straight possessions without leaking turnovers. Reeves is that guy. He's also the connective tissue when Luka rests. Fans talk about staggering superstars like it's a spreadsheet. The reality is uglier. The 4 minutes at the end of the third quarter when role players either hand back a 10-point lead or stamp your will on the game. Reeves in those minutes is a trust decision. There's also a culture piece people overlook. Luka's gravity is obvious, but locker rooms run on the habits of the middle class, the guys who aren't immortal, but act like it in film study and walkthroughs. Reeves is a tone setter there. You can replace points. You can't always replace chemistry, and you almost never replace trust on time. So where does that leave us? With a list, because fans hate lists until they secretly love them. 1. Clarify Reeves' usage early. If he's going to be the second side killer, commit. 2. Elevate the rim pressure profile of the second unit so his drives end at the cup, not in traffic. 3. Add length on the wing that can swallow mistakes without fouling. 4. Shop for the vertical spacer archetype without telegraphing desperation. 5. Be honest about your number for Reeves next summer and communicate internally. Now alignment prevents panic moves later. 6. If the market offers a real two-way needle mover at the deadline and the cost includes Reeves, you evaluate it like adults. 7. If not, ride with him and build the playoffs around the three-creator model: Luka as the engine, LeBron as the governor, Reeves as the stabilizer. The fun part? This doesn't have to be either or. There's a reality where Reeves' usage trims 5%, but his impact grows because the possessions he touches are cleaner, more purposeful, more playoff-proof. There's a reality where his defense looks better because the scheme puts him in more digs and fewer dead sprints. There's a reality where the offense leans into a slow burn that becomes a fourth-quarter wildfire because you've saved the legs that matter. If we're disciplined, those realities overlap. And if you've made it this far, here's where I stand. No hedging. I would not move Austin Reeves preemptively. I bet on the fit, sharpen the second unit rim pressure, and keep working the phones for a big who blocks shots, runs the floor, and doesn't need touches without touching the core. I'd price Reeves honestly and be ready to pay if the season proves the thesis. I'd only pivot if the deadline delivers a genuine two-way star who elevates our ceiling in May, or if by midseason the data screams that the backcourt is a defensive sieve we can't patch scheme-wise. Otherwise, I ride with the guy who has already shown he can steady us when the storm hits. Your turn. If you're running this team, do you pay to keep Reeves and trust the fit next to Luka and a recalibrated LeBron? Or do you cash in while the market's hot and reallocate into size, vertical spacing, and defense? Drop your take in the comments. I read them, and the best arguments always end up shaping what we talk about next. And if you're new here and you want this kind of honest, no-nonsense Lakers talk all season, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report and smash that like so YouTube knows Lakers Nation still runs deep. My opinion's on the table. Now I want yours.